Coach, just an opening thought on Saturday's game and where we are now.
Yeah, obviously a very frustrating start to the game. The first half was, we're obviously very disappointed in the way that we played. And man, you got a great crowd, you got a great opponent, and just didn't feel like that we took care of business, and didn't feel like that we played to the level and the expectations that we set for ourselves. And just hats off to the guys for fighting back there in the second half. But at the end of the day, I mean, you just can't dig a hole. We made too many mistakes in a big game like that. And we had talked about during the week that you're not going to. This team is not going to beat themselves, and it's going to. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. Just two plays, just in all honesty, made the difference in that game.
And the fact that this is a game of adjustments, the fact you guys went in at half, came back out, and in reality, it looked like a different team. You looked way better in the second
Yes.
half. How proud of you, of your team, are they that they were able to take those adjustments at halftime and put them on the field?
Well, because we wouldn't have done that last year. There was a couple of times last year when we got down in that very same situation. Yeah, and you've seen this team do it over and again. I mean, we did it against week 1. We did it against week 3. We did it in week 4, where we come storming back after digging a hole, and we just got to stop doing that. I mean, I don't know what it is. I really, we played completely different in the second half than what we did in the first half, and played with confidence, and were aggressive and sound defensively. And the first half, it wasn't that way. So obviously, I look at myself. I don't look at anybody else. I'm in charge of it, and I've got to make sure that I look at what's the cause of just starting slow. We got to look at every angle that we can, and is it what we're calling? Is it how we're? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but we just got to come out the first half like we do in the second.
And if it wasn't for about 3 plays this entire season, you guys would be undefeated. The fact that it's that small of a margin between 2-2 and 4-0.
Yeah, that's right.
Just kind of talk about how frustrating that is,
Yeah.
and how you have to avoid that thought into going into this week.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think that we're at a point within our program, that it's time to start overcoming some of that, But I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it's 1 or 2 plays. I mean, it's a 4th and 13, great catch on their part at Tech. It's a 2-point conversion. I mean, there's so many just 1 play, 2 plays that make such a difference. I mean, we stop them on 3rd and 10. That was a critical play. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, I didn't agree with it, but it gets called, and then the next play, we're sitting there and we get beat on a trick. I mean, like sitting there gawking in the backfield, and again, that it boils down to we got to be more disciplined at times on defense. I mean, I just went through and watched the plays against us all year defensively, and most of our problems are self-inflicted. We just got to overcome that and eliminate those, and if we will, we'll continue to improve as a football team.
In your losses, it's a Power 5 team, and then a nationally ranked top team. Both of those less than a touchdown difference. Yeah. How proud of you or your team that they're able to kind of take that good competition and match that level pretty much the entire game?
Yeah, well, and I get it. We're disappointed because we have high expectations for ourselves, and it's something that playing close is not something that we're trying to do. We want to win, and I think there's a lot of good things that you can take from both of those games, but at the end of the day, they're both on the record. They're both losses, no matter how close you played, and it's just time for us as a football program to take another step, and you got to win those games. I think there's been 8 one-score games in my time here, and I think we're like 1 point, 1 point, 2 points, 3-point games, a 7-point game. It's time for us to start winning those games, and that's what I keep challenging our team. And we want to build a program that when circumstances get difficult, that we can win games, and that's where we are as a program. It's time to start winning those games.
Utah Tech this upcoming week. Talking to them, and then the kind of challenge that you're going to see.
Yeah, they have a running quarterback that's extremely explosive, fast, and he does a nice job of off the play action, getting the ball into his playmakers' hands. So they're a program that got a brand new coach, got great respect for Coach Anderson, and he's building a football program, and they play very sound. They're smart guys, and they're going to get that program going, and it's going to be a challenge. I don't care. Anytime you go on the road and you play an opponent, man, you've got to execute. And what we're really looking at, we're putting a major focus on us as a program. We have to come out and eliminate some of the things offensively that we're doing that are not allowing us to execute at a high level. We got to do some things defensively to make sure that we stay sound and disciplined. There's been, I would say, I think I counted like 17, 14. I mean, there's been like in 3 games outside the Tech game, there's probably been somewhere around 24 points to 30 points that have been just basically not great execution by the offense, but normally, a breakdown in us. So I look at myself, we're doing too much. I keep trying to streamline it back to make sure that we can execute it and stay sound and stay disciplined.
So obviously it's been a crazy season. It seems like we say every week, but this week, and what's been kind of a common theme, you guys have rallied, in the second half. Tell me about what impressed you in this past game.
Yeah, you get down, you sit there and you come out, and I told our guys at halftime, look, we're going to score 3 times in the second half. We got to pitch a shutout. We give up a big reverse. They end up scoring a touchdown. We get a penalty to extend that drive. And so they score 1 time in the third quarter. We outscore them 21 or 20-7 in the second half. Again, I'm proud of the fact that our players continue to play. Quitting is not an option, right? It's like I tried to tell them yesterday. Yes, we're tired of talking about hey, we didn't give up. Hey, we didn't that's a good thing. But yet, on the same hand, we have to. Well, really, the problem is digging a hole to begin with. What's causing that? And that's what we're researching. We're looking at play calls. We're looking at what we did in those situations to get to that point, and how can we fix it? And that's where the challenge lies. So yes, I'm proud of the way that our young men, like I've said it over and again, we got down 15-0 at Tech. We got down 22-7 at Tech. We got down 32-21 at Tech. We got down 10-0 last week in Colorado. We got down 27-3 the other night. And it's just too big of a hole. When you're playing a team of that caliber that's not going to make mistakes, and they're just they're just at a different point in their football program than where we are. We made the mistakes, they didn't. They executed, and hats off to Idaho. You have to give them credit. They did what it takes to go on the road and win a game, and we've got to figure that out.
So I know you guys are, doing your research to kind of see what plays or what in particular is necessarily leading to these slow starts. What do you think could be changed going forward?
I don't know really at this point. We're looking at it. Trying to, is it a lack of execution? Is it, is it is it the play call itself? Is it, are people doing things differently to us than what we game plan for? I'm not really sure that we can put a finger on it at this particular point, but that's what this week is all about, is to, just make sure that, and we just look at ourselves. I mean, like, what are we doing? I mean, man, I felt great about our preparation. Thought our kids had a great week of practice. I thought they were dialed in our meetings, walkthroughs, and everything leading up to the game. I thought we were ready to go. And, again, it's frustrating because I know that we have so many different weapons on offense. It's just a matter of getting into a rhythm. And because you see almost every time when we get that first down, man, the drives just seem to click. There was, I think we were in a 3rd and 1, if I'm not mistaken, and we get a illegal substitution that kind of set us back. We don't convert to 3rd and 6. I mean, there were just some things, from an execution standpoint that I think are going to show up. That if we can get corrected, and yes, we still understand that we're a good football team. But, man, we have set a very high standard for ourselves, and we're not trying to live up to anything outside of our program other than what we have expected from ourselves. So, obviously, we're being very hard on, ourselves and looking at, what do we need to fix and how can we improve moving forward.
So moving forward, the next game against Utah Tech, what are some things you're looking for, maybe to try and prevent that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty simple. I mean, just execute the way that we can execute on all 3 phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams continue to show marked improvement. That was a bright spot in the football game. Execute, I mean, that was 2 of the top returners, punt returners and kick returners. The young man that was returning those kicks had returned in the past 2 seasons 6 returns for touchdowns, and then the punt returner the week before he had scored up on a big long punt return and set up 2 more touchdowns in the victory a week ago for Idaho. So, man, our coverage units, we had a 48-yard average with Grant Nickel punting the football, great hang time, great coverage with those guys, and then kickoff cover. I mean, we had 2 explosive stops inside the 20-yard line in that phase of the game. So I was very pleased with where we were. It's like we're playing well at different times on all 3 phases. We have not played well all at the same time, and it's time to start doing that. That's what good football teams do.
Yeah. Really competitive time with conference play right around the corner. 7 straight conference games. What does the defense need to do well throughout those?
Yeah, I mean, it's eliminate the undisciplined mistakes, the busted coverages, the not cut. We're going to bracket their best player the other night, and they T-fly, and we don't go with the running back, so therefore we can't bracket their best player. Leaves a guy exposed in the end zone on a one-on-one, and we knew that guy was a challenge. He's done it all year long against Oregon, Wyoming, and we knew that we had a great game plan for him. We just don't execute in a critical situation of the game. Then we get a 3rd and 10 stop. We get a personal foul, give up a walk-off on the next play, and it's just undisciplined. I mean, it's all it is, and it's do your job and do it at a very high level. If we do, we win the game. I mean, it's that simple. 2 plays really had a direct impact on 14 points. At best, they should have come out of there with 3 points, and it's just a lack of execution. It wasn't something that, oh, goodness. I mean, and all they did, everything that we knew going into the game, then we get, I mean, you take those 2 away, those 2 games plays away, and I mean, it's a different game. And, you just can't do that against quality people.
Kind of going off of that, you mentioned last week that limiting big plays was going to be a huge part of success last weekend. Obviously, that didn't come to complete fruition there, but just kind of speak on that. Yeah,
I mean, if you go back to the Northern Colorado game, their best play was 4 PIs. We got a PI and a horse collar tackle that led to all their points. So I wasn't really concerned about, and really, you go back to week 2, again, same thing. We busted coverage, 2 coverages that led to 14 points. And so I sat there and just go, it's not that it's some great execution by the offense. It's simple calls. It's things that we have done over and over again since August the 1st. How can we change that? Like 14 points against West Georgia, 14 points against Idaho. And, I mean, you look at it now, all of a sudden, you hold West Georgia to 10 points. You know, I can live with the PIs. You know, those are judgment calls, and we had 60 yards worth of penalties that led to 17 points at Northern Colorado. I can live with that, okay? At the end of the day, the thing that discourages me and frustrates me is the lack of execution, okay, on things that we've been running since day one. And in the Idaho game, the West Georgia game, I mean, what a difference 14 points makes the other night. The way that we came back and played in the second half. You know, you win, and again, but that's what people do, that when you don't win, as you sit here and you come up with all these different reasons why we didn't, but at the end of the day, it's really, I'm stating the obvious. We have to stop busting assignments in critical situations of the game.
How have Sam Hicks and Isaiah Johnson continued to impress you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sam's just a competitor. I mean, he's also the same guy that's running down. He's the first guy down covering kicks, you know, trying to make explosive plays on our kickoff coverage. They're just they're ultimate competitors. I mean, I think that Isaiah just brings a toughness to our football program. I mean, he's been the same from week one. He's going to give you about 50-plus yards rushing, and he's going to score a touchdown at some point. And he creates a lot of his own yardage after contact, and they both bring a competitive spirit and a toughness to our football team.
After we really, you know, we hyped up the Idaho game, and
Yep.
rightfully so, it was a big game. Are you pleased that this Utah Tech game is a conference game and that it's, you know, there's still there's no letdown in the importance of this one?
That's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we're 1-0 in conference, and one of our goals, you know, someone asked me the other night, you know, we have a couple of goals. One, to go undefeated at home. Okay, well, we lost a game. Well, let's go 4-1 at home. If we go 4-1 at home, that means in 3 years we've lost 4 home games. And what's crazy is every single one of those home games have been lost by one score. I mean, so we're being highly competitive at home. And that has been one of the things since the day I got here. We got to protect our home field advantage, and we've played really well at home. We got to continue to do that throughout the rest of the season. If you can go 4-1 at home, then man, you're going to position yourself to play meaningful football in November, and then going on the road. I don't care who you're playing. Anytime you're playing within conference, everyone raises their level of play. Everyone raises their level of intensity, and everyone raises their level of focus. We have to match that, and we have to do that on the road. And because you're not going to win a conference championship if you can't go on the road and win. So it's about, yes, winning at home, but it's also about going on the road. We do have 7 straight games. I like it because I think now, when you really boil down to the simplicity of it, I mean, you got about 50 days to be able to sit here and go, you're going to know our fate, you know, in this season. And it is 7 straight conference football games, and we're going to be excited to play because, you know, we sit here, our kids were hurt yesterday. They were disappointed, and probably more disappointed in the way that we performed in the first half specifically. Yet proud of the way we finished the game. Now we just have got to go back to work. We've got to figure out, look, we have to start. You have to play 60 minutes and then some. And if we can figure that out and figure it out fast, we're going to be a challenge for everyone on our schedule.
Then, let me know if I'm wrong. Last Saturday, 3rd highest attendance in ACU history. You talked about you wanting people to kind of show up and see what Abilene Christian football is all about. Well, they showed up, so kind of talk about the crowd and the atmosphere.
They did. I mean, what a great crowd, man. And I appreciate everyone that showed up and wearing their purple. And, you know, it's big. It's big for this region of the country and the state. And, you know, obviously our players and, you know, I don't know, maybe I stress the importance of this football game, but I felt like that we were mature enough maybe to handle that. Maybe we weren't. I don't know. But, man, just want to say thank you to everyone here in Abilene and everyone in the Big Country region for coming out and showing your support. And love you to have come back, because our young men, they are disappointed that we didn't really give them, what they came to see. But I do think if the ones that stayed saw a glimpse of what kind of football team this can become.
And that's the thing, the fact that you've had 3 or 4 games have been a one-score game, that means all 60 minutes it's 110%, whereas if it's a blowout, it's a little easier. What kind of fatigue does that put onto your team going into conference play? That's 7 straight games.
I like it because every one of those games are going to be just like that. I mean, when you look at the number of one-score football games in FCS football, it's crazy. And it just boils right down to, that's why we build our program on character, discipline, and toughness. It comes down to the people who are disciplined, make the fewest mistakes, and that is something that we have got to we've got to look at and figure out a way to stop making those mistakes, stop doing the things that are eliminating or destroying execution offensively. And if we do that, we'll position ourselves just like we have in weeks 1 through 4. We'll position ourselves to win games.